Well, according to a new book, Queen Elizabeth left behind 2 letters on her deathbed. Joining us now, royal expert Patricia Treble for her weekly Royal Roundup. Patricia, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, this comes to us from a royal biographer, Robert Hardman's new book, which is out later this week. What do we know about these letters that the Queen left behind?
Yeah, so these are in excerpts that are in that the Mail is putting out all this week. And after her death, when they opened up those famous red leather boxes that had all her official documents, not only did they find the letter, so the letter for the king, sealed letter for the king, a sealed letter for her private secretary. We don't know what's inside the letters, but the fact that we even know about it just makes me want to read this book. The other thing we found out was that the private secretary recorded a memo that's in the archives about the last moments of the Queen, and they talk about her it was very peaceful. She died in her sleep. There was no pain. And it's kind of, those are the sorts of things that, makes me want to know more about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hardman's got close ties, right, to the royals. I mean, there's probably a lot more, quite a few more revelations coming from this book this week.
There was a documentary that aired on Boxing Day, and he was one of the co-producers. And this is an adjunct of that. He was working on the book at the same time, working on the documentary. And it was a complete behind the scenes of the first year of the King. And he's known for this. He's done a whole series of books about the late Queen's reign. And so this is now him focusing on the new king.
Okay, well, more to talk about there for sure.
Yes.
Wanted to ask you about this. Harry receiving a Living Legends of Aviation award, but that's coming with a bit of controversy.
It is, because the question is how he is a living legend of aviation. And the controversy is coming from very big names. So the former head of the Royal Navy basically came out and said, he's not a living legend. Sure, he was an Apache helicopter pilot in Afghanistan, but it was a standard 20-week tour of duty. He didn't do any great feats of flying, so how is he a living legend? And I think what the former military leader says is probably what it is that this is an award, it's going to be in Beverly Hills on Friday, John Travolta's doing it, they wanted a big name. And he is a decorated war pilot, and so they put his name forward.
All right, meantime, massive crowds in Copenhagen as King Frederik and Queen Mary took the throne in Denmark. What more can you tell us about this celebration?
So this was amazing. So first of all, we've got to back up 2 weeks because Queen Margaret been on the throne for 52 years, enormously popular. She stuns the nation by saying she's abdicating, and she gives everyone 2 weeks' notice, leaving the job, as everyone does.
As most people do, yeah.
As most people do. And it's an incredibly simple thing. They don't have a big, lavish coronation like Britain does. You sign some documents, you go out on the balcony, the Prime Minister proclaims him king in front of a big crowd, and that's it. Massive crowds. There were basically all of Copenhagen, all of Denmark was there. And you could see that the king at some point was getting emotional because the roars were just so loud. Australian wife, so the first Australian queen, Queen Mary. They have 4 teenage kids, so I think we'll be hearing a lot about Denmark in coming years.
Yesterday was the final ceremony of a 10-day celebration. Explain this. And Brunei, and it was the marriage of Asia's most eligible bachelor.
Exactly. So Brunei is a tiny little oil-rich country in Asia. It's on the island of Borneo. His name is Prince Abdul Mateen. He has 3 million Instagram followers who he chronicles his entire life on Instagram. Was marrying a local bride. Her name is Yang Rosna. Now, 10 days, the most lavish thing you've ever seen. You've got diamonds the size of plums. You've got a diamond bridal bouquet. You're not throwing that sucker around. And the thing is, this is this typical thing. He's the 10th child of the Sultan. This is an ordinary wedding for them. I'm going to say it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Wow. Wow.
All right, and finally, the power of royal fashion on display this week. Not only Princess Kate, who we're used to, but also Princess Anne, who is being called, quote here, the chicest woman in the world.
So that quote comes from the lead designer of Fendi, the Italian fashion house. And they were so captivated by her military style, all her military uniforms. And I'm going to say she wears them with a certain amount of panache. They designed an entire men's collection around her style. And I can say I looked at the coats, I looked at the hats, and I thought, oh yeah, she'd wear them. And then we talk about the Kate effect. Kate can sell out anything, and she did it for a really good cause. And so for World Mental Health Day, she wore these tiny little gold star earrings, and they were designed by a jeweler to honor her 17-year-old cousin who had died by suicide. And Kate wore them. They're $45, money going to charity. They raised nearly $20,000 to date, and that's only a few months. And if you want, you can go on, you can buy them. They're called Issy stars, ISSY stars, and first thing that pops up on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is the Kate effect, isn't it?
It is.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome.